Good evening. That I was just thinking of talking about the subject and given a title called "Run into the Woods." Why have I chosen this subject called "Into the Woods"? Is that I know a hardworking father, so like he's been missing his daughter a lot. So he quite often that travels for the work, and he keeps going and all the time. Then so some of the things that what he said was that he's been always been available for his daughter, and the moment that he is not available for her daughter kills him like anything. So he just traveled for work to a place called Sierra Leone. It's a kind of a quite an isolated place, and the network or the telephone connections were not that very friendly, and he often would be just disappearing, even though if it's a free town, it's a capital, and it's not that a glorified town, so you can just see the thing. Often that he would just run into the woods, which is on the Wilkinson Street. So you have a lot of isolated, just like a kind of a wood forest that you will see them, just like them that you see them in the Bay Area, or maybe the road that which goes from Boston to Plymouth. It's a modern city, but you have a lot of woods and beautiful signs, and you can isolate yourself. And why would somebody just go isolate? And for only one reason, that when he was missing his father, so he would go and drench himself within the thought of his daughter, that he's not been available to be with her, and thinking and refresh his soul and come. So this has been a very different experience or expressions that one could give altogether, but I could not able to relate. When Jesus was in this world, he was very busy. I know very well that the moment he became famous, like I was told by one of the politicians whom I know very well, that I interact with, he said, "Francis, I hardly have time for myself. The day I wake up, even to have a cup of coffee for myself, there will be somebody waiting for me." That is a danger of becoming prominent. And he said the thing, he wanted for it. He whether he liked it or not, he can't be isolating himself as long as he's in the position. The same thing has happened with Jesus, I presume. The moment people came to know that he is able to heal the sick, deliver the demons, trust me, I've been reading the Old Testament and the New Testament. Can anybody tell me, like, how many times that anybody chased the demon out in the Old Testament? Were they not possessed by the demons then? Why so much of demon possessed people came to Christ, and he's able to deliver? Because he had the authority to do that. So people who are in bondage were coming with sickness, with sin, with demon possession, with social rejection, isolation. All these people started coming to Jesus, and he hardly had a time. Jesus was very busy. He was training their disciples, at the same time preaching, delivering, traveling. He hardly had a time for himself, even to sleep. I read the word that in Luke 5:16, in the Luke 5:15, it says the thing, he was crowded by the people, and so many people were looking out for him, and he was so busy, but something all of a sudden happens to him. Here it goes. The verse it says that, but Jesus often withdrew to lonely place and prayed. In one of my previous video, I talked about the practical part of Trinity. Why Trinity was so important? What was the fellowship that interlinked between Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit? How important it was. There has almost been 30 plus years that Jesus left them and came, and he would miss them terribly, and he wanted to be within the fellowship of the Trinity. He isolates himself, goes to the Father, and maybe he hugs him, he cries out to him, he talks to him. The greatest comfort that he can get is to be with the Father. Even though he loved his disciples, he chose them personally, and he went on to the level of giving his own life, but that is not his greatest comfort. He wants to be with the one whom he loves the most. The fellowship is also like that. Everybody wants to be alone with the person whom they love so much. That's a clear evidence that the love between the Father and the Son was amazing. It's very difficult for us to comprehend. And in one of my Facebook page also, I just wrote about the similar topic which I could not come out of it, that energy recharge. Most of the mobile people would go and recharge their mobiles. If not, it won't work. The battery down, so the battery has to be recharged. So Jesus went to his Father to recharge his energy, because he's getting all the comfort and all the strength back from his Father. Isn't that true? Isn't that beautiful? And that is a thing which really always touched me. Two examples that I wanted to talk to you about here is that one is that I know an older couple who's got children and grandchildren of their own, and they sometimes, when we go to the marriage party, there will be so many people on the crowd, but I would see the thing, these two lovebirds will always isolate themselves and stay, like sitting in the staircase talking to them, and it'll be surprising that even though they're quite old, and they just still want the personal time, which they don't want to compromise or share it with anybody. The most beautiful sight I have ever seen in my life is that a dad holding the hand of his daughter, walking on the beach on the sunrise. Quietness and nobody there. The most adorable sight that you can see is that as long as your hand is in the hand of the Father, it's so secured. I happened to be in Cameroon one time, just helping them with a healthcare provision for Bamenda diocese, and it's a Catholic diocese and beautiful. They have committed themselves for the past 100 years with a lot of support coming into that for the healthcare. So I was it's an English speaking side, most of them are French speaking, where I was given a choice to stay in a hotel or in a monastery with all the fathers. I just said, okay, I would stay with the fathers in the monarchy. It's a beautiful place that I will always recollect and recall in my life, and it's a nice experience that I had. It was just a couple of months and beautiful. I can't really forget Father Nestor and Father Raphael. So in the evening time we sit together and sit and talk. So one of the admirable fathers that I have noticed was Father Raphael. We both used to play guitar and sing and have some nice time in the evening. and I saw him always smiling, and so we used to have. So one of the remarkable thing I found out was that thing when the monastery food was just boring, he would call me, Francis, are you bored with the food? And I said, yes, it will be nice if we can take a break. So one fine day that we went to that, there is a huge wooden platter. So it's like a kind of a bowl, and it's got lots and lots of money, and there is no accountability. He goes and picked up 80,000 francs, and we went out. So we had food for around 40 plus. I couldn't recollect. So he came and dropped the money back. So the next morning, the servant girl would come and just take 1,000 or 2,000 francs to collect some soap for washing the dish, and she puts the balance back. Everything is open, transparent, and such an amazing sight. It's very different for me compared to any of the churches here. I used to joke with Father Raphael because in Cameroon, being a father is like almost like a demigod. So even the youngest one, I was attending one of the convocations of the fathers. So the parents would come and kneel down before their son to get the blessing because his son has become a father. So it was a little bit too much for me to understand from the Western culture. So, but still that has been a practice. So I used to bully Father Raphael and said, why did you become a father? Because of a lot of respect that you get, and everybody is the highest level position that I would see in this kind of a part of the town. And I was just bullying. We would always smile and just like that's the way it is beautiful. So there, Father Raphael told me, Francis, he's such a handsome man, very tall and sharp features. Cameroonians are beautiful. They have beautiful nose and face structure. It's really nice. This is such a handsome guy and with a beautiful smile. And when we plays guitar, it's really nice. I enjoy. And he told me, Francis, in my youth, that I was far away from my Creator, and I've been longing to give Him something back to Him. I didn't have enough wealth, even though if I had it, I would have given it. And I didn't have much of talents. I can just develop and give it to Him. But the best part of the time is that I thought of giving my entire time to my Father. So I have decided to give, not to share it with anybody, but only with my Father. I have never heard such a response from any man of God. That shook me. One of the blessings that I had in my life, to meet such people in life. And the beautiful part one can give to the Father Creator is the time. And Jesus knew the value of His time. He doesn't want to compromise. He sacrificed His sleep. He was attending to the needs of the mission call. He came for delivering them. Sometimes he's very tired at night. Nicodemus would come to him for personal teaching. He would give, and for disciples he was teaching them, making them disciples throughout his life. But one thing he never compromised, even though he wants to get an energy, the best part of his life was to give it to God, was the time that he isolated himself and goes and be in the presence of God. And he has taken a full time altogether, the energy to be recharged, isolate the time with the Father. That is what I would like to learn, and it's beautiful to spend some time in the presence of our Father. That shows how much time that you spend with somebody or something determines how much love that you have for the person, and availability for their person has always been your part of determining whom and where your importance are given. Take care. Be a blessed day.